You should be able to complete this exercise on your own. To draw this section of the sketch, just like the Nike logo exercise we did earlier, fully define each curve individually before drawing the next one. Some dimensions are provided in this view, and some are in the other view. This section might have some underdefined dimensions, which I'll show you how to fully define now. Sketch two center lines that are perpendicular to each other and apply the perpendicular relation. The midpoint of this center line is coincident with the other center line. Then, we apply a tangent relation here. We also add tangency relations here and here. And these two curves are made equal. So, go ahead and create this sketch using the method I just showed you. To draw this sketch, as I just explained, I start from this point and draw the curves. I enter a sketch on the front plane, and using the arc tool, I draw a curve with a radius of 270 millimeters, an angle of 35 degrees, and a vertical dimension of 95 millimeters. A radius of 270 millimeters and an angle of 35 degrees. Next, a radius of 170 millimeters and an angle of 18 degrees. With a tangent relation. Then, a radius of 110 millimeters and an angle of 70 degrees. Which roughly draws from this point to this point, also with a tangent relation. (110 millimeters radius and a 70-degree angle. Next arc has a radius of 75 millimeters and an angle of 60 degrees. And then radius 238.24 millimeters, which goes roughly from this point to this point. With a tangent relation. And a radius of 238.24 millimeters. Next, an arc with a radius of 170 millimeters and a vertical dimension of 90 millimeters. I press Ctrl Z here. First, I adjust the shape to get it closer to the desired tangency, like this, and then reapply the tangent relation. A vertical dimension of 90 millimeters and a radius of 170 millimeters. And finally, the last arc has a radius of 340 millimeters, which extends from this point to this point. All right, to keep the sketch clean, I'll draw the rest of the shape in a new sketch. So, I select the front plane again and start a new sketch. I draw an ellipse with dimensions 20 millimeters and 30 millimeters, horizontal distance of 280 millimeters, and a vertical distance of 170 millimeters. I select the ellipse tool and draw an ellipse here. A dimension of 20 millimeters and a dimension of 30 millimeters. And dimension of 280 millimeters and 170 millimeters. As you can see, the ellipse is still underdefined because it can rotate. To prevent rotation, we add a vertical relation between the center point and the two endpoints of the major axis. To sketch this section, I follow the same procedure I explained earlier. I select the center line tool, draw one center line here, then draw another one. I make the midpoint of this center line coincident with this line. I make these two lines perpendicular. And I set the dimensions to 100 millimeters and 165 millimeters. I select this point and this line. Dimensions of 125 millimeters and 265 millimeters. Using horizontal ordinate dimensions. With the 0 point here, I select this point and this point. Then, apply the dimensions 125 millimeters and 265 millimeters. And also dimensions of 55 millimeters and 110 millimeters. Next, I connect the points using the arc tool. Then, I apply tangent relations to the arcs, and I make these two arcs equal. I exit this sketch and draw the remaining part of the shape in a new sketch. So, I enter a new sketch on the front plane and create this final shape. A horizontal dimension of 60 millimeters and a line length of 50 millimeters. An angle of 50 degrees and a distance of 155 millimeters. This is how we complete the sketch.